a short time to get through it. So last night I did the unboxing of this, what I feel is an awesome rod, and I went out and proceeded to have horrible results with my overall swim baiting initial stuff. So if you guys remember right, I actually started out with this reel. The HLC was on, and that's the tequila back rack in case you guys are just joining in to the channel anyway. So I switched them up. I had the Victory rod. The Victory rod is no more. That rod is just too much for me. I took it right back to Bass Pro Shops. I used it for about 10 minutes maybe, and no. This rod's going to work, I think, with that reel, but the reel may be up in the air. This reel, I don't know. We'll talk about it in another video at some point in time. I think the reel's fine. I think I got a little too much line, and it doesn't work well with what it's supposed to work well with, I think, like big baits. Anyway, enough about that. We have settled on, we're going to just stick with this rod and reel combo. That's the Tequila Baccarat. I'll try to show you guys. Right there, the specs. 7-foot rod, 3/4 to 4 ounce, 12 to 30 pound line. Now what I'm going to probably do is order P-line original. I actually think I'm going to get 20 and 30 pound test and start using 20 on instead of 15 on my other rod and reel combos, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. But anyway, this rod should handle all the baits we've got coming from AliExpress, and unless we wanted to go real big swim baiting. So basically that Victory rod can't do anything more than this rod can do, and it's a 7'10". It's not a broomstick. It's actually a very good rod. Like if you couldn't and you can't afford something like this, then the Victory would be an option, but there's probably a cheaper option that'd actually be as good as that Victory rod. But anyway, this rod, I have no issues with it, and there'll be more in upcoming videos. Possibly tomorrow I'm going fishing. Out of everything so far, I will comment real quick. The best thing I've found is this power handle definitely works and helps with once you do get into bigger type stuff, or if you're deep cranking like that. 100 millimeter just gives you the sensation of you're in control of what you're doing with bigger stuff. It definitely, I like that feeling of that. I'm not for any regular type fishing though. I could see having these like on your, for your deeper diving crank, like a 8 to a 10XD, those kind of deep divers, big swim baits, all that big kind of stuff. I definitely like that power handle on, and I like this reel, this the Zillion reel, but I think it may honestly be a little too small once you get out there and start chucking big stuff. That spool, that's only 20 pound. I may go with 40 pound braid to a 30 pound leader is where I may end up with my bigger heavy stuff. Basically anything over an ounce, I may go to that next size up. And that spool runs out of line real quick. Like once you get past that certain amount of line, even though it's braid, like 40 pound braid. So, and I don't know, that still may stick with that, but that's the rod and reel combo for now, unless I decide to get, who knows, is that Z2020, maybe a Calcutta Conquest 300. I don't want to go 400, but I probably need to go bigger than 200, so possibly some sort of 300 reel. That's up in the air. So let's get to this little shootout that I'm going to be doing. Now, I wasn't going to do this because I feel you're not going to gain anything. You know, if you're a Whopper Plopper fan or a Choppo fan, you're basically a fan of the same thing, just made from a different company. But this color I like. I think this is supposed to be the Whopper Plopper bluegill color, but I like this color. That's the very first one I bought. You can see it's caught a bunch of fish, and we're going to put it in a shootout against this. But then in the long run, how long will this bait last compared to the Whopper Plopper is kind of a story that maybe needs to be told. I can't get it unpackaged. So while I was at Bass Pro Shops, I picked up a few things I didn't really need, because if you guys see my tackle box, I don't really need anything probably for the next 5 years. But I like this color. This color, and Charles And I can't remember your guys. Some of you guys, you don't comment enough, or I'm just my memory's that bad that I don't remember all your guys' names. But somebody kind of kept pushing this Choppo. Charles bought one, the black one. This is a 120. This is a 130. And just filament in hand. This looks and feels to be made of heavier gauge stuff. It has, I don't know, whenever the Whopper Plopper came out, that's how old this is, and it's still good. So it's going to be hard to beat the longevity of that. Now, as far as how they feel and how they work, I think these colors are close enough, but this, in my opinion, is a way better color. But I don't know, sometimes that clear ghosty color works good too. But we're just going to put them head to head in a couple different videos like we've been doing with our chatterbaits and other stuff. I almost bought a couple other sizes, but I figured I'd just go with this. Let Charles play around with them little dinks on the little Whopper Plopper perch colored one. Because this is their bluegill or perch color. It actually is a pretty good color. It's got that little hint of chartreuse right here. Now you could easily add that if you wanted to on any of the baits. You get a chartreuse whatchamacallit, or the dipping thing, and use a little brush or whatever. You can add a little shot of chartreuse like they have on there. Or you could scrape that off if you feel you don't want that. But we're going to try that bait just like it is. Hook size is definitely smaller, so you could get by with the lighter combo, throwing the Choppo 120 over the Whopper Plopper 130. I'll probably go ahead and take that off and just run them like stock. That was something I'm trying. I honestly don't know if that helped, hurt, or whatever. I couldn't hardly tell the difference. But so we got that to do in the shootout. Then to finish up our shootout stuff, I don't know if I've even talked to you guys about this. I don't talk to this bait, do I, buddy? No, I don't. I don't talk to you. No, the 6 cents. I forget what they actually call their names of these. They're just kind of a shallow running crank that's not really a square bill. I think that they're designed to go through grass better than the standard crankbaits, right? Shallower running, and Strike King makes a couple different sizes. I almost bought one of each size, and then I went, no, I'll just get the Bass Pro Shops one. I liked that bluegilly color. So I'm not really going to be putting these head to head, but I just wanted to add something in case I lose this. Because this one, I got on a little, I feel that's a good color and a working bait. So I like that, and I wanted to get another one. And they didn't have that at Bass Pro Shops, 13 Fishing, or 6 cents, sorry. So we got that dude to match up. Just a couple little 1-2 thing, a little bit lighter, more white than the bluegill thing. So be looking forward to, I guess, more talk about these when I'm out on the water fishing maybe. And this is also a bait that you could really throw just like the minute you think the topwater bite's a little iffy, then go to these little shallower, but kind of like you would with a instead of like throwing a square bill around wood and stuff, you throw these around grass and stuff, square bill around wood, spinnerbait around wood, just like you throw the chatterbait more around grass, right? So these would probably be a better backup to a chatterbait than the true square bill maybe, and then this square bill be a better backup to a spinnerbait thrown around where there's more snag prone type stuff. And that is all after you've thrown a Whopper Plopper, right? So let's jump to spinnerbaits, and then we got an unboxing, believe it or not. There's I can't believe it's actually fast. From AliExpress, it hasn't even been 2 weeks yet, and the first of our stuff we ordered has started to come in. But before we go there, if you guys remember right, on the spinnerbait front, we'd gotten some more of the Z-Man, and that's the first one I had, and it's all chewed up. And I talked about how it runs pretty shallow, right? It wants to ride high up in the water column, just like if you just watched the video that dropped today, talking about the, or last night anyway, talking about the chatterbait, same kind of deal. When you get some of these like Indiana, Colorado blades and a lighter head, that's the spinnerbait. It'll tend to ride a little higher at a slower speed. Some of them you actually got to try to run them as slow as you can just to keep them down a little bit kind of deal. Where did you come from? Oh, he was stuck in there with him. So then on this guy, we picked up one that's a little bit, it's going to get down, I think, a little bit better than that one. But if you guys remember right, oh boy, where's my other bait? Hang on one second. I ordered all those different ones that came in. Hang on, let me find it. Oh my God. From AliExpress, all the Megabass SV3 knockoff. So they're really, you can't beat those for the price because they're only like $2.50, $3 a piece. These crazy things, these are supposed to be compact, which they are when you get the little sizes. But then the big one, I think that's 3/4, maybe an ounce, but I think that's 3/4. So I picked up one of those just to try to get out. That's when we were kind of running. They were out deeper still, colder water. They were down deep. So I wanted to kind of show you guys a size comparison of the two. This is the lightest, the 3/8 ounce, and in that same kind of blades as the almost the same size. Like there's not a huge difference on these two baits, the Z-Man and this. So I just want to give this one a shot. Even though these are like $10 a piece, I just had to try it, and we're going to put them up against the Z-Mans, which are cheaper, but they're still up there in that $6.99, $7.99 or whatever, then versus the SV3 knockoffs. The problem with the knockoffs are they're just one size. At least with these, Jason Christie, they have a whole, like, they actually have a chart you can go by on water clarity, temps and all that. To basically, they want you to buy 50,000 spinner baits and change them out accordingly to what's going on with the bite kind of stuff. But right at the moment, we've been having luck with these smaller, and that is almost the same kind of vibe going with this color. So we're gonna try that dude in that color along with the SV3s. And one thing that actually I guess I saw it, but I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it, so hang on, I'm gonna talk about it. Jay brought it to my attention because when you buy these, they actually come just like when you pick the color of them out. Let me find one. And where I was originally getting mine, I believe, and Jay also, they are sold out at the moment, but there's other places that are some, and really they're like a $3 bait. But the first pics you're seeing are actually of the true Megabass one, and it comes with 2 willow leaf blades. So this blade down here isn't a littler Colorado. It's not as big as this one, but it is a willow leaf in the first like few pics when you first click on the link. Right? In the first pic you see up in the thing, and then you click on it, and then if you start scrolling through at the top, that's what you'll see. But when you go down and click the color selection to place the order, then it shows you an actual picture of this. So that's what I was really paying attention to. Then Jay said, do you realize that the whatever? So then I went back and looked. I'm like, oh yeah, because that's to get you lured in, they're showing you, I'm pretty sure that's the actual true Megabass one in those first few pics, and then the ones you're getting are the actual pics of them in the, to show the colors, because these colors are a little off from the Megabass colors, and this is off a little. But these are the ones that I've been having the luck with in that configuration. None of mine have double willow. They are all like this, and the Z-Man ones. This one, the first one, which I think, I don't even know if I've caught a fish on the double willow gold colored ones, but that's the one, kind of that Colorado, Indiana has done real good for me so far, and this one's kind of a double Indiana. And you can also play around. One cool thing about spinnerbaits, you can switch around blades and colors and all that without, slight bend to that, or you can just do it in split rings if you don't want to mess around with bending that out once you've done it. Or if you've done what I recommend to do, And I talked about it in the video, and I never really mentioned you could actually just run this up and glue it all, lock it all into place if you wanted to where this wouldn't get out of there. If you guys remember, I've talked about it in the video. It's the only downside really to these baits. I've lost one of the blades after catching it's a decent chunk. It shook real hard. So far the blade, the hooks are sharp. Everything's worked good on them. All right, enough about spinner baits. Let's go to the snaps. Now these aren't, I don't even know if these are snaps I recommend. I just needed more big snaps, so I bought the size 2, and then I just bought the size 1 because that's the other size they had an option with the red hook snap thing. So I just bought a couple packs from Bass Pro. So what I'm going to use these for is like 15 pound, and then my 10 pound. If I go below 10 pound to true BFS, then I would go even smaller than that, like size 1, size 2. And I've got it somewhere in the video, and I don't remember all the sizes, but the ones I ordered from AliExpress, I still have a bunch of the little ones. I was running out of the bigger ones. That's the ones I mainly throw 15 pound test stuff. I find a lot. So I was looking today, and none of you guys have commented that you've ever went and ordered P-Line Original. I've been fishing the P-Line Original for only how many years now? 6, 8, 10, and then 15 is my main biggest one. And I don't know why. Get that bug. There's a bug on it. Anyway, I don't know why I never paid much attention to this. I didn't just buy the 20 pound instead of ever messing with the 15, because if you guys follow the diameter, to the size and all that, so like I can't remember exactly how they go, but roughly 8 pound is 0.8 or 0.8 or whatever, 10, and then as they get bigger, they tend to go down. So I think the 15 is like a 0.14 or something. Anyway, whatever that number is, the 20 is only 1 point higher. So you gain 5 pounds of strength just in one little increment of bigger around. Like it honestly, it makes sense you should just go with the next size up over the 15 just for like a security reason, because of fish, you're not going to draw, like that little 1 point is not going to draw enough attention for the 5 pounds of that you gain on that, like throwing some of these bigger baits. And then the 25 is it's like 2 or 3 steps up from the 15, but then I think on the chart I couldn't see what the 30 is. But anyway, I'm going to look it up, and I'm going to go somewhere between 25 or 30 for the swim bait stuff. But I thought that was kind of once I looked into it, I'm like, I should probably just be buying 20, because now I do have 20 pound braid. I just started buying the 20 pound braid from the Proberos. Basically buy the camo 10 for 10 pound, and anything under, if I could put 6, 8, 4 pound if I wanted to put a leader, because I run braided leader on everything. And then so I've been buying 20 for I don't know how long now. I've just been running my 15 pound leader because that's the line I have. Once I saw and looked at the 20 pound is just a touch whatever, I'm just going to go ahead and get that. So I'll have basically all these type baits, spinner baits, all that. And then if I want to go smaller for the little small crank, basically what I'm going to be throwing on the X Pride or jerk baits or that kind of stuff, I can go with 10 or whatever. So let's get to the unboxing. I'm not even sure. I'm going to save the big bait for last. Coming straight out of AliExpress all the way from China is this one, and I'm not even sure what it is. I think this may be our fuzzy dice. If you guys caught on to the fuzzy dice craze, apparently, no, not the ones that you had on your car or your dad had on your car, depending on how old you are. There's a craze, and the first one I ever heard anything talk about it was Ben at the Hookup Tackle was talking about it, and they talked about how ridiculous it was, but they went out and fished them, and all they did was catch fish on them. Now they had, I believe they were like rubber all the way, like a complete molded thing, but these popped up on AliExpress, and I thought, well, I'll just try them. So I ordered just a orangish color, and then they had the bright pink ones is what they were using. So it's probably kind of like a pink That bubblegum pink TRD, if you guys have ever seen a craze with those. Now these are just basically a deal with these stuck in them. Now, I could have swore the one that he had at the hookup tackle was actually, all of it was like a rubber. Like these coming out, came out all the way. So these may not be near as good. But it was just one of those, like, I'll just order it and try it. So basically it's just is what like it looks like. You rig it up with the hook. You rig it, I guess, different ways. But, you know, it's just on the bottom, and it looks like, you know, who knows what, something moving with the tentacles basically moving around. But I don't think this is going to be as good, but who knows. So I may try to order some of theirs they actually have at the hookup tackle if these seem like duds. So I'll be looking forward to see what I think of these. I'm going fishing tomorrow, so I'll probably rig them up on something and try it. Maybe either a drop shot, or they feel like you're going to have some sort of weight to get them down at some point. Anyway, I almost bought the bonsai rig. Have you guys heard of the bonsai rig? Just because Bass and Bonsai. At Bass Pro Shops, they had a few different sizes. I almost bought a pack of those, like $4 for 2, just to try out. But I got so much other stuff to be trying out, so I didn't do it. Alright, you guys ready for the final one? I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little let down even without opening this yet, because I think I saw the exact same bait in a smaller size at Bass Pro and it looked real cheap. Look how they packaged it. They sent this in a piece of trash bag. So I don't know, this thing could be in 50 million pieces. It could be total garbage. It is bigger than the one at Bass Pro, but this is the exact same bait that they have at Bass Pro in a small version for $8.99. I was just up there just looking at it going, I wonder if that's what I've got in the mail. And look at how horribly packaged this is. This is definitely one of the cheapest. Look how horrible this is. If this bait catches anything, it feels heavy. I can't remember the specs on it. It's one of the heaviest ones I had, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, we're throwing it with the Tequila Baccarat. Now, the one at Bass Pro Shops is little. Fits like in the palm of my hand. It's like 6 inches, I think. This is, I think, 8. I'll try to show you guys. It's a big bait. Let me get something out to compare it other than... let me get a swim bait. Hang on. Hang on. But it was cheap. Like, that is a $10 bait. It's like, if it gets out there and catches a fish, it'll probably be like money well worth it, right? So let's get out what we have so far. Our biggest bait, which we're throwing no problem yesterday. Well, what's funny is my disaster yesterday was because my mag draft got hung up on a cast it out, and it got hung up, and I couldn't get it out because I wasn't in the boat. So I lost my mag draft. And then I proceeded to throw off, if you guys remember, I had that like 1.5 ounce, 1 3/4, whatever, jackhammer. I proceeded to throw it off when this thing backlashed. So here is the S-Waver 168. Here is this bait. Cheaper than the S-Waver, way bigger. What I'm wondering is, why couldn't a guy take this? You got it cheap. Why can't I modify it? I wonder what it would do if I just basically stuck stuff in here and made that solid, and then made it more like a, you know, I'm sure you could just stuff some stuff in there to, you know, make it solid for a small period, and then I could actually cut those. If you guys look in there, I could cut those down. They're not, you can tell that's like not going to make a hole in it like we did our other baits, and then try to make it into something. I mean, I'm going to try it just like it is now, but there's so much modifying. That's part of the fun, and it may be the only fun for me in swim baiting, is the actual, you know, just tinkering with the baits. Oh my god, that hook, get off of me. So I don't know if I'm going to like throwing that or not. I think this is the biggest, heaviest bait we have coming, because that's the last one. It was under 10 bucks. They're like normally $13 or something like that, so I bought it. So I'm going to try it just like that, but I know what 100% I could do. I could cut that tail off, reseal this basically with my Dremel. I would cut that off and then cut into it, making a notch to where I could put, you know, just some basically parts out of a paintbrush, get black bristled or regular bristled paintbrush and paint the bristles or whatever, and make my own tail that would be a soft tail, because that's a solid tail. And it does feel like the weight is up here, whatever they have added to rattle. It's definitely, this is a noisy bait. There it is. Oh yeah, that's a real popular brand. How do you pronounce that? Hinjiga. Ha! Look at those real 3D eyes. Lifelike fins. I don't know. It's definitely like stout enough. I think it'll handle. I think if you had a different fin back here, you could go with smaller hooks. I don't think you have to have that big a hook. I mean, this thing feels like it's going to sink like a rock. But alright, there it is. Our first swim bait. I don't even know if I'm going to try to throw it tomorrow. I may wait till I get my... Like I said, I think I'm going to have 40, and it's probably still a little under a kill. 40-pound braid to a 30-pound leader is more likely what I'm going to go to on any of these bigger baits. I know, I should probably go to 60 or 80-pound braid, and I've thought about doing that. Then I know I definitely would need a bigger 300 to 400 size reel. So I don't know if I'm going to go there yet or not. I mean, do I want to spend another however much money, or do I just want to count my losses on any of these bigger baits and not even mess with throwing them? I sell them to some of you guys. Or I get out and just toss them around and just tweak on them and tune them and get them to where I think they swim good. I know I can throw this with that rod. I just don't know how far or whatever, depending on the size and weight. I may look into it if one ever comes in stock of one of those cheap $100 swim bait rods that actually are the extra heavies that can throw big baits like this, like they're little baits kind of thing. Because that's kind of where the victory rod, like I was throwing stuff around and it felt stiffer than the tequila baccarat, but I felt like I wasn't really gaining anything on like this size of bait. Or you could always just make a soft tail, cut that one off and cut into it and then seal it, make sure it's not a leak, and I don't know if you guys, like in my mind, you can seal any just with the 3-part epoxy or whatever. So anyway, all right, any more questions? I got to get ready for tomorrow. Yeah, that's what Vox Guitars Rock. You're right. That's what this whole problem is. I spent a small fortune just to get some of these cheaper ones. I'm gonna figure out which ones I don't like or whatever. I spent $350. I actually got another $150 worth sitting in my cart from AliExpress that I didn't really get the first go around. That they're still coming, but I'm gonna see which ones are, because none of them are real expensive. This one was 10 bucks. $15 to $17 are a couple that are going to be a little bit smaller than this. They're kind of like the K9 knockoffs or the TK, and then a couple different ones. But once we got to dive in. You can't just, stick your toes in around the edges. We dove in. We got, I already went through, kind of checked out 2 swim bait rods, decided on one that I'm going to use. I don't want to go full on swim bait big monster stuff. I just don't want to hassle with that. I'm not going swim baiting all day long. I don't go chatterbaiting all day long or spinner baiting all day long. Now if the bite's on, I'm going to do it all day long. So technically, if you could go out But you can't really go out and find an all day long bite on, once they get so big, especially around here. I'm not saying you couldn't somewhere maybe, but around here, however many fish would probably actually swipe at this, you're probably going to be limited this big a fish, right? But we're gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna be throwing a lot of these different ones as they come around. Now, I've talked about it, and then I'm gonna end this video. I'm still looking for, and if you guys haven't watched the videos with Tackle Warehouse and the Butch Brown, him talking about the moon phases and the certain times, or when he actually goes out and throws big baits, that would be worth a watch for you guys. But I'm shooting for that early morning, you know, and then that midday, you know, so what I call like magic hour, early in the morning and the afternoon when the topwater thing, like when fish just get way more active. You can start catching them on topwater. Doesn't mean they aren't just as active down deeper. You know, they just get more turned on to biting. So that's when we're going to try to utilize maybe some of our bigger baits, swim baits, maybe even just bigger baits in general. But then I already decided I'm not going full big bait fishing, like the big blade, the big chatterbaits, all that kind of stuff. I'm staying in my wheelhouse, basically 3/8 ounce with something on it. And then I'm probably going to go not even small swim baiting. I'm going to find that just a good size where I feel like it starts getting me a bigger bite, but it's a good, comfortable, getting bit kind of thing. And that's probably where I'm going to try to stop at, because I'm always about, you know, catching basically the majority of fish you can that are still of decent size. Like if I get on dinks, I'll just completely change up. Like even if you guys probably seen already this year, I've been out there with that Vision 110 Plus 1 Junior, and I'll get on like a tear, and within 45 minutes to an hour, I've caught 20 bass. But I just get a feeling like the big ones aren't here doing this. This is a little fish bite that's going on. I'll switch it up, and I'll, you know, they say never leave fish to find fish, but I will totally change course and go look for a bigger bite. Now I may go back to Dinksville if I can't find nothing else, but you know, so that I'm just going to try to fit the swim baits into my fishing. I hate to even call it like a program or whatever you would call it, just the way I fish. You know, I fish for fun. It's fun to try new stuff, fit it in, you know, where and when do we go with the swim bait rod and reel, or do we pull out our BFS rod and reel with the big swim bait knobs on it right at the moment, right? And when do we do all that kind of stuff? So as of right now, I have no clue, because I'm first really into the true like swim baits. I can tell you all about the BFS stuff. Like it's definitely, you can go full BFS. You could go out and just fish with BFS, trying the lighter, not necessarily real small. They usually are pretty small, but like lighter BFS-y type stuff. But a lot of times you can lose, not really the big fish, but the bigger fish bite if you get to playing around too much too soon with a, you know, too slow moving or too small a bait. So there's like a fine line. And of course you always figure it out when the day's about done. And that's one thing about, if you had the ability to go out and fish 3 days of practice to set yourself up and make yourself look good for 2 days, it's a lot easier to do than to just go out and, like, especially some of you guys, like if you were like I was for years, I had a Sunday. For maybe 8 to 12 years, I had Sundays. That was my day to fish. And so we went from sun up to sundown, and whatever we could get on, we got on, and that's what we did. But now I do have I mean, I have hours through the week. I could technically go scout out, but man, that's a long drive to go too far. But I can go fishing here and there, and if something seems like it's going to be on, I could go back and hit it for like a whole day. But I have my weekends are free now as far as Saturday and Sunday. Makes it a little better to get out there and improve on your game, try out new baits. That thing is way bigger. Dude, that's like a whole different... That's like a whale and a baby whale. Alright guys, stay tuned. That thing won't even fit in none of my tackle boxes. I'm just going to have to carry that thing on the dash of the truck and then in the boat. Yeah, it will officially not... I have a bait that will not fit in any of my tackle boxes. I will have to cut out like a place to lay that in. So I am going to have 2 separate boxes, one for swim bait, bigger baits like these, and then my BFS stuff is going to be separate from my regular gear kind of deal. All right, stay back. Some of you guys would consider this a pretty big bait, 3/4 ounce. That's actually I like this kind of size. Like this size, spinner baits, they have the ability to pull in a big fish, but they can get on bites where they're just a bunch of fish. But there's times, what's funny is that, I guess it's in the world we live in nowadays. When this Whopper Plopper first came out, it was like, I saw it like as a monster. This Choppo's a little skinnier, but it's just pretty much, they call it, like it's actually, I would say it's as long. I would say it and the 130 are basically the same thing. It's just, because don't they say it's supposed to be 120? They are like almost the exact same length. They are the same bait size-wise. They're got a little lower belly, which I guess some guys are saying it doesn't let it roll. I never had a problem with this one. Anyway, stay tuned. A lot of fishing, a lot of testing, a lot of everything coming up. Get out, go bass and bonsai, whatever you do. If you're going to do any kind of swim baiting stuff, I would definitely, I don't care what kind of rod, reel you end up with, I would recommend that handle, the Gomexus handle from AliExpress. I think you can find them on eBay too, but that one right there, 100 millimeter, $54 shipped to you. That's one of the better deals going in the swim bait game nowadays. Still up in the air on these baits. We're going to find that out too though for you guys. But yeah, that handle assembly feels good. Real free, the bearings are good, it's a good solid feel. No issues with it so far. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Wait a minute, chicken fried steak. You're late to the party, son. We're 37 minutes into a good time. I started to break out the fireball tonight, but I didn't. I got to get up at 4:45 or 5, probably 4:45. That's normally when I get up through the week. Go down and meet with Matt. We're supposed to go fishing. And then Sunday, I don't know. I'm going to go fishing Sunday too. I'm not sure exactly where or how. Maybe with Matt again. You never know. Went to get clearance baits next town over. Man, we're kind of ridiculous, aren't we? We'll drive. I'll go. And they just look at me like I'm funny when I go to Bass Pro or somewhere, and they're like, did you find everything you're looking for? It's like, yeah, considering I got like huge tackle box stuff oozing out of it. I don't really need anything, but yet here we are. Got a new one of these, a bunch of those coming. So yeah. I'm getting ready to downsize. So this is the year, and I called it earlier on, like I'm going to get stuff so I'm like, my rod and reels are about where they need to be. My tackle box is just it's gone off the rails. I've got to bring it in, settle it down, and get rid of all the, because I'm starting to get to the point where I feel it's affecting my fishing game in a negative way. Now the swim baits aside, because that I'm just going to try to get them where and all that, but like I've got all these different size and chatter baits and all this spinner baits and all this different stuff, and soft plastics is the biggest thing. I've got so many different from the bandito bugs to the sweet beavers, Berkeley worm, different stuff. I need to settle all that down and just get on a few things. Maybe stick with what I can Z-Man. And then a few other ones to where basically all my soft plastic fits into one smaller bag than what I got everything now. It's insane. I'm not a collector of anything. Rods, reels, baits or not. I kind of try to just use what basically will get me by until I could order more. So if it's going to be coming from AliExpress, a couple of something, so if I need to order something, it's going to be there within, a month. I can make it a month, basically. Most of the stuff from Tackle Warehouse or Bass Pro, just that week or the next week, I can have it replaced, so I don't really need to be doubled up or tripled on any of that kind of stuff. You know, really. And then with some colors, you'll have maybe not the exact same color, but you got something pretty close, right? So, a brew tank, the handle I just showed you guys, came pretty quick. This is maybe the fastest thing I ever saw shipped. I want to say May 9th is when it showed I bought this, and as you guys know, I think what's this, the 19th? So 10 days, less than 2 weeks is all it took. And if you saw the way they shipped it, they just slapped it in the thing and said, send it on. But you can go to Bass Pro and get this exact, like, it must be brand or whatever, in a smaller version. And I don't know, they may carry this one on the website. But they have the little, I just left Bass Pro, they had a small little like 3 or 4 inch one, and then a 6-inch one for $8.99. I don't know how much the smaller one was, but it was cheaper. But I'm pretty sure it's the exact same company that they're getting them from there, because it says right on the packaging at Bass Pro, made in China. So this is just coming directly from them. So if you've fished anything like that or seen it from Bass Pro, that's basically the same quality as what you're going to be getting. I mean, it should work. It should work and be sturdy, stout enough to, you know, hook into, I don't know. I feel, especially with these hooks, I could hook on to, you know, at least a 10, probably a 20-pound weight and lift it without it bending anything out of whack. It's got a pretty good solid feel. I just don't know what it'll swim like, and it's making a racket, but it's a good little kind of a carp print also. So yeah, I like it. I don't know if I like fishing it or not. It looks cool. All right, guys. TRD hogs $2. Oh, Z-Man was on sale. Oh, the Clarence now gets what he needs. Oh, Z-Man was on sale. The TRD hogs were $2. Meg fatties for $4. Yeah. The oh shoot, I got to figure out a different way to do my Z-Man stuff though. Look at this tail. I just took this off. Now I had it with other Z-Man baits, but I left it on here because I've kind of found out the ones without salt you can leave on the bait. They won't make it rust, but they deform. It's probably because I had it out in the sun or something. So that one is shot. The one thing I like about these Meredith ones, these Meredith baits are fairly cheap. These little swim baits, and the tails have that, they get a little funky, I guess, but they still swim in the water pretty good. Like when you're throwing it out there, you can watch it like swims good. I like the Z-Man Diesel Minnow ones, like right out of the package. The 4-inch on a spinnerbait or chatterbait, but I've got to redo my thought process on putting them on, taking them off. I guess I can't be lazy. I got to take them back. Now what I could do, because sometimes, especially on a chatterbait, I could just cut that off and leave it like a little, just nothing there. For whatever reason, sometimes just not necessarily on a spinnerbait, but if you guys remember, and I saw those at Bass Pro too, the Zoom made those little twin tail things. Sometimes just something back there that extends past the skirt material is really all you need. But yep, I'm out of here. See you later, chicken fried steak. You're making me hungry. I might have to have a chicken fried steak. Dun, 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 dun. Chicken fried steak says, I left a mega bass dark sleeper with the sleeper crawl ruined. My new sleeper crawl. Oh yeah, the sleeper craws, I threw mine in the water, but they're like the Elastec and the Mag Drafts aren't. The dark sleeper and the sleeper craws and all those, they're different. So yeah, you got to watch your stuff, and you don't want to put. I know one thing. Any brands that do this, you want them separated from any other brand. Like you can't 100% guarantee that an Elastec from Z-Man will go with a Elastec from, say, the Sleeper Crawl or some of these AliExpress ones, because I noticed some of the AliExpress ones shrivel up like way faster than the Z-Man stuff if you don't put them back in their package. And they tend to just not have a long life expectancy. These Z-Mans, if you just use them, pop them back off and put them back in a bag that they came in kind of thing, they tend to last almost forever. Now for some reason that one has lasted crazy forever on my black and blue gold bladed chatterbait. But that one right there, unless I wasn't paying attention and it got around some other plastic, it just fried that tail. I've got this one sitting here that was in the same box. It's perfectly fine. So I must have let that touch for, could have been an hour or so, not long. It must have been in touching something that got it started to deform. But anyway, I'm out. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.